This is professional bowler Doug Kent. He is not set to compete in the parking lot playing football, but rather on the bowling lanes in Buffalo. The countdown to the Etonic Championship next. The Denny's PBA Tour showcases the very best bowlers in the world. 58 players searching for their place in bowling history. The competition is fierce. The pressure, unbelievable. The reward, indescribable. So far, it's been a battle of young guns against the legends. Epic matches where one shot can be the difference between a distant memory and a moment never to be. Last week, Tony Reyes threw the first 300 game of the new season on TV, putting him in the category with the all-time greats. Yeah! Who experiences that winning feeling today? We find out next. From AMF Thruway Lanes in Cheektowaga, New York, minutes from Buffalo, ESPN brings you live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour. Today, 4 bowlers gun for the top prize money, and with a win can earn a 1-season tour exemption. Now they're ready to roll.
This 8-time Denny's PBA Tour titleist is looking for his second title in 3 weeks after winning the season-opening USBC Masters. From Newark, New York, Doug Kent.
At this year's USBC Masters, Doug Kent made it a deuce with his second major title. Now he looks for another double, winning 2 titles in the same season for the first time ever.
He's a 7-time titleist, making his second TV appearance of the season. From Yorkville, Illinois, Steve Jaros.
Steve Jaros is the quiet type. He likes to fly under the radar, and when the dust settles, take home a title. Today, he hopes to hear a lot of this sound, the ball smashing down the pins. He lets his bowling do the talking.
At 26 years old, he's one of the tour's young guns. Today, he goes for his first career title. From Avon, Ohio, Chris Loschetter.
The youngster of this show, Chris Loschetter, has proven he belongs on TV. But can he break through and win? He says it's his time to shine. Pretty big words for someone who has never won a title. Now he has to back them up.
One of the tour's legends, this PBA Hall of Famer shoots for his 33rd career title today. From St. Anne, Missouri, Pete Weber.
The bad boy of bowling is back. Pete Weber brings an unmatched intensity and entertainment to TV. And today, he brings his Hall of Fame act to Buffalo, going for his 33rd title.
These are your finalists competing for the title of the 2006 Etonic Championship.
This is the 27th time the Buffalo area has hosted a PBA Tour event, the 19th in this historic center. We're here the state's major highway system that connects Niagara Falls to New York City. Our defending champ, Doug Kent, back on TV. He'll be the second match against the 7-time titleist Steve Jaros. Our first match as PBA legend Pete Weber making his second TV appearance of the season against the youngster Chris Loschetter. It'll be their first ever TV matchup. Hello, bowling fans. Welcome to Western New York in one of America's great bowling cities, Buffalo. Glad you could join us today. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson alongside with Norm Duke. Norm, unfortunately for you, an injury sidelined you. Try to make the finals as you did here last year. What happened?
Well, I got this nasty crick in my neck prior to the event start, and I couldn't get it fixed, so 7th frame of the first game, I had to pull up.
We hope you're better for Hammond, Indiana next week on the Denny's Tour. So get well soon. Randy, let's talk about Pete Weber's run to the round of 8. Interesting matchup with Liz Johnson, who's from Buffalo, on Friday night.
Yeah, it was a great matchup, and make no mistake about it, Liz Johnson is the real deal. Unfortunately for Liz, she had to take on one of the most feared players on tour, Pete Weber. Pete looked at her as just another obstacle in the way of his 33rd title. Pete wins in 5 games and makes the show. But when it's all said and done, Liz and Pete, well, they're still going to remain friends.
So Liz Johnson, certainly Norm Duke had a good hometown crowd rooting her on here in Buffalo on Friday night in the round of 8 against Pete Weber. Doug Kent should have some pretty good rooting section behind him as well. He's from Newark, New York, about an hour and a half from here, and he's really made some headlines this year, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. And to me, Doug Kent is an amazing story because prior to this event last season, he was contemplating retirement. He was going to go home, manage his bowling center full time, and be done with it. But then he wins here. Starts this season out with a win at the Masters, a major, puts that $100,000 in his pocket and says he is now more comfortable than he's ever been on the lanes. He now is the hottest player on the PBA Tour.
Is he ever Norm Duke? He leads the Denny's PBA Tour in points right now. Here's the oil pattern on the shark pattern, 44 feet with heavy oil. There have been 200-300 games, and one of those, well, from each Doug Kent and Steve Jaros on the show here today. Last week, Tony Reyes became the 17th bowler, Denny's PBA Tour history, to bowl 300 on TV en route to his first ever title. Will Chris Loschetter win his first ever title here today? That's the question. Takes on legendary Pete Weber. We're underway. Almost a Brooklyn strike, kicks out the 6 late, has a 10-pin. Chris, just a youngster, 4th year on tour. His wife, Erin, who lives in the Cleveland area with Chris, a great bowler collegiately herself in her college days. Single pin numbers you saw, and then there's another from Chris Loschetter. He's got a spare. Here's the legend. 3rd on the points list this year, 8th in points last year. That category won by Norm Duke with a tremendous season. Wife Tracy, as always, by Pete's side. Trademark sunglasses. In the 1-3 pocket, a strike for PDW in his 27th year on tour. Here's the Ace Hardware matchup. Randy, 2 bowlers really from opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of wins.
Yeah, no kidding. Pete Weber with all the experience in the world, Hall of Famer, going for his 33rd career title. Chris Loschetter still looking for his first. And Norm, you know, you would think it would have to be advantage Pete. My question is, who do you like in this match?
Well, I certainly like Pete. However, I do know that to win your first title, you'd like to beat somebody really big. Pete Weber, really big.
And that was a pretty big trip on the 410 for a double to start this match.
Got the DW patch on his left shoulder, guys. You see that, honoring his late father, Dick Weber. The PBA legend himself, late kick on the 10-pin, and he's got another strike. How emotional was it last year? Hammond, Indiana, where he won that tour title, his last championship, and honored his late great father in doing so. Loschetter gets a break.
Chris Loschetter, not the easiest of roads to victory, but it's not how many. It's just a matter of getting there. A very, very nice, likable young man. In fact, his coach, back when he was growing up in Melbourne, Florida, is Sam Zurich, an ex-touring player who won twice on this tour.
Comes in light, though, on that ball. 2-4 for Loschetter. Norm, he made a ball change after his first shot.
Well, yeah, a lot of times you figure the first shot of the match, you're going to be lined up and you're ready, but I'll tell you, there is so much going on in his nerves. It's expected every once in a while to start off a little bit shaky and then maybe think it's the ball or, in fact, know it's the ball.
Norm, you beat him last year. Taylor, Michigan, for your title last season. Does take care of the mark, does Chris Loschetter. He ranked 19th last year on tour to earn an exemption. The year before, he won the tour trials to win his first exemption. His first ever TV show came in 05. World Championships, Ypsilanti, Michigan. As we see Pete's road. Liz Johnson, of course, in 5 games. That was on Friday night. Perfect shot. Our match Randy told us about a few moments ago.
Pete Weber using a bowling ball that was just introduced to the tour about a week ago. And I talked to him earlier today when he was getting prepared in the locker room. I said, Petey, how's that new ball doing? He says, Randy, it's what got me there. It's what got me here, I should say. Super aggressive. He says, Randy, this is something I've been waiting for and something I needed to use on a really, really slick oil pattern, Norm.
Yeah, and this one's really slick.
All right, that's it. To the high side, 4-pin for Pete. These sunglasses he likes wearing on TV because of the bright lights. Had him on for several years. Liz Johnson in the background there, guys. She gave Pete quite a run. A great week herself trying to get to a TV show. She's the first woman ever a couple of years ago in Grand Rapids to make a TV Finals in the Denny's PBA Tour, but lost in that final to Tommy Jones that year. Chris Loschetter, Randy, very confident when we spoke to him about the possibilities. You see Liz, who had a tremendous week here in Buffalo with all kinds of fans rooting for her.
She's a great bowler.
Is she ever?
Yeah, you don't
Won't be long, right?
You don't want any part of Liz Johnson.
Loschetter. 7-pin. So, Randy, what about the confidence of the youngster Chris Loschetter feeling this was his week to win?
Well, you know, Chris Lochetter's a really, really good bowler, and you know, in talking with him, he says, "Listen, it's still a learning curve for me. I'm still working on things. I'm still trying to get better." And I'll tell you what, Norm, that is what it's all about out here. You apply it, you get some confidence, and when you've got the kind of talent that Chris Loschetter has, it's just a matter of time.
Right, and you want to bowl with confidence out here. You're not going to beat the best in the world without the confidence. And he's getting it. You know, he told us last night that every game he bowls on the PBA Tour, he feels like he belongs more and more.
Dave, it's just a work in progress.
It'll take some time for him, but he said Randy was very inspired by the win by Tony Reyes last week. Tony keeping score for us. Again here this week after being a champion last weekend at Taylor, Michigan for the first time in his career. There's a 10-pin for Loschetter.
Boy, if you can't be inspired by what Tony Reyes did last week, you have no pulse. That was one of the funnest shows that I've ever done or ever seen since Bob learned and the 280 average on TV in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and this shot, a product of this sharp pattern, all of that oil in front of the pins just will not allow that ball to drive like it normally would. He's shooting a 10-pin.
Chris Tullis' off-season comprised of competing in some regionals, bowling a lot of practice, some vacation time, but trying to get himself in gear for a difficult season. And difficult times like facing this guy, Pete Weber, on the verge of $3 million in earnings in his great career. The only other, the all-time tour title champion, Walter Williams Jr. There's a strike.
It's like poetry in motion when I watch Pete Weber bowl. And it just looks like flawless mechanics, you know. And when he's got it right mentally, Pete or Norm, when he's got it right mentally, I mean, the physical attributes have always been there.
Right, you don't get 33 titles without making it look easy. I mean, you don't grind through your approach and win 33 times. And Pete, it's as easy for him as anyone on earth.
Fourth all-time with 32 championships. 4-pin there.
Yeah, he's
Ray, the leader now, 42 guys. Earl Anthony behind him, and Mark Roth with 34. But as Pete told us yesterday when we spoke with him, he still thinks he can catch Walter Ray.
Well, you know, I'm not here to argue with him. I do know that he's playing this left lane a lot deeper than the right lane, and the last two shots weren't favorable.
Man, boy, that was a better shot than a 4-pin. That ball was nutted.
Pete Weber had a turkey to begin this first semifinal and has a lead on Chris Loschetter in their first ever TV head-to-head matchup. When we return to Buffalo, New York, the final of this semifinal, it's next. The Etonic Championship is brought to you by Etonic, the official footwear of the PBA. Etonic, first one there. By Denny's, Denny's always works. By Ace, the official hardware store of the PBA. Ace, the helpful place. And by Prescription Flomax. Chris Loschetter bidding for his first ever Denny's PBA Tour title. That guy, Pete Weber, the Hall of Famer, has won 32 in his incredible career. Loschetter with a lot of confidence coming in. be able to take down Pete? That's the question. Randy, let's check out the Etonic Edge.
The key this week was getting the ball off your hands super clean so it would read the pattern correctly, and no two better than these guys, especially PDW. No grabbing at the bottom of the swing got your ball to read it properly. I talked to the players this week, Norm, and they said every time they grabbed it at the bottom, the ball would shoot right through the break point, and they usually ended up with a real ugly washout.
That's this week's Etonic Edge. Loschetter, 6th frame, works on a spare. Boy, needed a hit on both number 5 and number 7. And a 7-pin stance for the youngster, who finished up his bowling career collegiately at Florida State.
Norm, that ball just about rolled out. If you look at the difference between Pete Weber's entry angle into the pins and Chris Lochetter's, Chris has a lot more forward roll. Petey's a little bit more on the side. And right now, Pete's ball looks a lot better going through the pins than Chris Lochetter's.
Well, so far I agree with you, but you know, you said you can't grab it on this pattern, otherwise it won't pick up in the mid lane, and you're right. Chris Loschetter did not grab that shot. The problem is it didn't pick up hard enough to get the 5-7 out.
See the pocket hits, left lane. Trouble there for Chris.
He's missed the pocket twice, Dave, and he's got 1 strike.
Against the legend is not going to be enough. There's a ball change. 7th frame, he's down 22. Needs a rally right now.
On, get there. Yes!
That's the ball in the 1-3 pocket Lochetter's been looking for. And as he told us yesterday, he knew it wouldn't be easy in this matchup. He's had to face some great bowlers on TV in his young career already.
Yeah, and this was the exact same shot physically as the one prior. It's just a different ball.
There.
Hooks a little harder in the mid lane and then drives through the pins. Not to mention that it was flush.
Yeah, high flush.
Hook a little bit.
It did, Pete, but a 10-pin for Pete Weber. Guys, Pete
shots
told us
in a row I've thrown really pure. And
I like that shot a lot. Told us yesterday, posture an issue with him. He's been working on trying to be a little bit more upright. Has that helped him, Randy?
Yeah, absolutely. And Petey's tendency is to get over it or start leaning forward too early. And when he does that, ball gets into the swing a bit quick, gets steep, and then there's some release problems because of it.
Sure, and his feet gets faster because he's trying to catch up to that swing.
Look at that list of greats. Walter Ray leads the way. An incredible 135 TV victories. Amazing. Those two went head-to-head Japan Cup guys we saw this year. And, of course, Walter Ray set the all-time tour title record. 42 against Pete in the finals, nearly on a 300 game in the championship match.
yeah, with you. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Yeah, please don't say it, Pete.
This is live national television, Pete. We appreciate you having a bit of restraint.
Please don't say it, but I'll tell you what, if keeps throwing him like that, his ball can do the talking for him. Right now, Pete can strike out and shoot 248, and there's nothing Chris Loschetter can do about that.
Pete told us he knew Chris would put up a fight. Good young bowler. But Pete feels as relaxed as he has in a long time. Bit high. A difficult split.
Well, Norman, it looked a little soft, and that was one of the ingredients for success this week was keeping your ball speed down. And unfortunately for Chris Loschetter, it's just a pinch high, and he pays maximum price on that hit, leaving the 4.79.
Full penalty, and, you know, he switches balls at the first shot on the right lane. You know, you need to get away with something every once in a while.
Look out. Missed them all, guys. 4.79. And that puts him in a massive hole. On Flomax Weekly Update, 4th career TV show here for Loschetter, the youngster from near Cleveland, Ohio. And last week in the Motor City Classic event won by Tony Reyes. 58th place finish. He says he has felt very confident the last few weeks. That off the mark as well. And a 2-pin for Chris Loschetter. His wife Erin is here. His mother-in-law Marty, sister-in-law Tracy, Erin's grandfather Lowell have all made the trip. Watch him in action. There's Aaron, a great bowler herself, as we talked about. So she knows what he's going through here as he tries to find that 1-3 pocket.
Yeah, he just hasn't been comfortable all game. And against Pete Weber, who of course starts with the first 3, you have to put something to go. You have to throw some offense at Pete. Otherwise, he just buries you.
Well, I think it goes back further than that. He wasn't comfortable throughout practice. I don't think he found anything he liked. He didn't find anything that looked good. And here's the thing, it's all about experience. Chris just made mention that his ball reaction is nothing like it was all week, but PDW found a way to get his ball to look the right way. It's all about experience, something Chris Loschetter will learn in the future. Come to the TV show expecting the unexpected and cover all the bases.
That's all Pete needs here, guys. He'll take 9, and he'll wrap it up in the semifinals against Chris Loschetter. And guys, yesterday Chris said he just wasn't sure how to attack the 1-3 pocket. Whether it was the first, second, or fifth arrow. The carry had been tricky in this bowling center all week, and because the TV pair hadn't been used by you guys, he really had big question marks going in.
Well, no doubt, and a tribute to his versatility, he could play the lanes all 3 ways and have success with it. However, once you turn on the lights, you have to know that what you selected is going to work for you.
Game plan, strategy.
Pete Weber will now go over $3 million in career earnings, second only behind Walter A. Williams Jr.
Amazing,
Congratulations,
right?
Pete.
That's a pretty calm game there, huh? 2 4-pins, a couple 10-pins.
Well, just that one shot where you almost left the stone 9, and you had to show some restraint. But other than that, yeah, Pete, that was just kind of like a walk in the park for Weber, huh?
I tell you what,
shows, 2 title games.
The first was the Japan
Best
Cup,
start
Pete.
to my career ever.
Yeah, he likes his start, guys. Told us that yesterday. Really feels optimistic about the year because of his start. Relaxed, worked on the posture after the practice on Thursdays, got that in line.
And the only thing missing from his tremendous resume is one thing and one thing only, and that's Player of the Year honors.
Pete told us yesterday he's as hungry as ever, and now he's over $3 million career dollars in earnings. Walter A. Williams Jr., the all-time leader, 3.775+ million bucks.
yeah, he looks hungry. Whenever he's about 145. Sopping wet.
Getting a little more valuable TV time now. Starting to learn a little bit with that.
But he's heavy on the PBA Tour, isn't he? 227, 179 to win over Chris Loschetter. Pete Weber is off to the final. Doug Kent, Steve Jaros, the other semifinals. Much more coming up from Buffalo. Impressive victory for Pete Weber, Chris Loschetter, so he's off to the finals. Last year, he was able to win in Hammond, Indiana as we go on the road with the Denny's PBA Tour. We're going to the Lake County, Indiana Classic in Hammond Stardust Bowl 1. You see the Pro-Am times, locations as well. Log on to PBA.com for more information there. Then, November 22nd to the 26th, Discover Card Windy City Classic. Pro-Ams at Hawthorne Lanes, Vernon Hills, Illinois, and Chicagoland and Fox Bowl in Wheaton, Illinois. Log on to PBA.com for information, times, and tickets for those Pro-Ams as well. Well, we know ESPN viewers love bowling, and many ESPN viewers love the World Series of Poker. How about a combination, something brand new to the Denny's PBA Tour? Something brand new to the Denny's PBA Tour broadcast here on ESPN. Bust Your Buddy. It's a round of 8 matchup between 2 PBA superstars, Chris Barnes and Jason Couch. Here are the rules. Each player starts with 150 points. The idea here is to leave something your opponent can't pick up. A spare. It's very difficult.
You ready, Sax? All right, baby.
Jason Couch makes sure Brian Sachs, our camera operator, is ready.
Get 9. Hurry.
Ooh, and a tough split for Chris Barnes early.
Gambling man, sir. No surprise there. Are you a gambling man?
What does he have around his neck there?
I'm just asking.
I'm not sure.
What is it? $1 million.
Oh.
Whoops! Now Chris has got $1 million.
Money goes to money.
Are you raising or what are you doing? Oh, it's to me, right? How about 30? I raise. 260. So you're raising me 30? Yes. So the raise is to 60. All right.
Yeah, just like poker, a man can call, a man can raise, put it right back on the other player, and I think intelligently he did so to Barnes.
Tough split here, guys. Will not get it.
So much.
Good start for Jason Couch.
Throw a strike, Barney. 10 in the pin.
You don't want that.
Just
Strikes or gutter balls, you lose 50.
In this competition, they want top spares. Not like that one.
I raised 30.
Yeah, that took him a long time.
No, you can't miss the pocket.
Are you kidding me?
Huh?
If he folds, he's got enough to play one more
Yeah,
shot.
you can play one more shot.
Otherwise, I'm out.
Yeah.
So, has to fold.
All right, rake it up. You win.
Okay.
There you go.
We fold that one.
No choice there. With a 1-2-4, that was going to be too easy a conversion for Jason Couch. So Jason tries to create another difficult shot. Oops, you don't want to do that.
I fouled! I fouled!
No, you didn't, Jason.
I fouled.
210 to 9.
Well, you just let Barnes right back in the match.
190 to 110.
That changes things quickly, guys.
Barnes just picks up a 50-point bonus.
Oh.
In fact, that wasn't good, boss.
Look at the size of that noggin.
Get them all.
He just knocked down.
Sure that didn't go in the gutter?
7-pin, so it's not that easy. Got to get all 9 here.
He just knocked down the hard one.
I'm just gonna keep
Yeah,
it
wouldn't you
even.
have gone for the 10-pin? Jason
Speaking
being
of not wanting
left-handed.
to throw one for anything.
Oops.
However, Couch doesn't convert.
Oh.
Barnes is back in this.
Well, after the great start for Jason Couch here in the first ever Buster Buddy competition, Chris Barnes has rebounded.
Yeah, strike.
Oh, no.
He does it. That's the split he wanted.
Good clean living there, Norm.
Yeah, he
I'll tell
threw
you
that
what,
through the
if
nose.
you
He didn't
go
have to
in-
get a split, though.
You can throw it at regular first shot, and if you miss it, I'll give you 2 balls on the second shot. Your call.
It's not bad. It's not bad. And if I hadn't been doing this for the last hour, I'd probably take
Well. You want me to change your diaper real quick?
Oh,
yeah.
trash talking.
If you can take the bottle out of your mouth long enough.
Oh, my.
Oh, touche.
Is it a deal or is it
No.
a deal?
No, I'm just going to shoot it.
You're just going to shoot
Yeah,
it.
I'm going to shoot it for third.
He's not going to take Couch's offer here.
Love is in the air.
Man,
He's got it.
Oh, make it.
Oh,
nearly did.
very nice try.
10-pin stands.
It wasn't that close.
Oh, yes, it was, Jason.
Now stands at 110 to 190.
For the team. All right, here we go.
I doubt he's going to shoot at the 7-pin this time.
Oh, that needs to stay in the lane.
Wait a minute.
He did. And he's going to lose 50 because he just threw it in the gutter.
All right, that puts Barnes back to 30 points.
Good grief.
270. Barnes will be all in on his ante. Jason.
Barnes is now all in with the ante. Jason just needs to leave something that Barnes can't convert, and he's a winner.
Yeah.
1-2-9.
That's not the most
Imagine.
difficult spare.
As long as you've been
No.
bowling.
Chris Barnes needs it.
Oh, that's trouble.
Look out.
Hey, how about that one? Off the back of the pit. Wow.
That's what chips in your pocket does for you right there.
He took the chip, right?
Jason Couch violently ill after watching
It
that.
all evens out, you know?
Oh, really does it?
Good, clean living. Your turn.
Why can't that strike?
Yeah, if you make it the same way, you know, I'll give you 3 shots. You know, all in, right?
I'm just calling it, boss. I didn't throw a strike ball the whole time in practice.
The mirror image of what Barnes just shot.
And the same chicken.
Chris is still having some fun with him, isn't he? Jason tries to convert, which she does.
Ah! Real way, the real way. Not cheating.
Real spares. Yeah, good one.
Real spares.
The other one didn't count, right? Well, yes, it did. Chris Barnes all in again.
That's a 4-pin, folks. Relax.
Still not the hardest spare.
Well, strike ball or flush
Another one
Brooklyn,
for
and
you.
Barnes will continue on. Anything else, Couch is going to win.
I like the strike ball here.
Oh,
Bro,
done.
He
way to
missed
win a
it.
chicken dinner. Oh, yes.
So Jason Couch takes it and has a little fun at Chris Barnes' expense.
I am happy.
He advances to the
I'm
Buster
happy
Buddy
to contribute to
semifinals.
your first
Be sure to hit the lanes Sunday afternoon. Coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour continues on ESPN. The Lake County Indiana Classic. Best bowlers work the boards for the $180,000 purse. Pete Weber won it all last year. An emotional event, a tribute to his late father, Dick Weber. Coming up, Doug Kent, the hottest bowler on the Denny's PBA Tour, has won the Masters. He makes this show here, so many fans rooting for him. Against the quiet assassin, Steve Jaros. Here in Buffalo, we're getting set for a second semifinal. Steve Jaros and Doug Kent. Hello and special thanks to Tom Sean, CEO of Etonic Worldwide. Etonic, America's oldest fitness shoe company, 130 years old. Log on PBA.com for all the latest news, information, and promotions, including the all-new Young Guns versus Legends sweepstakes. There are 2 grand prize packages, one for entrants 21 years of age and older, one for entrants between the ages of 13 and 20. To enter, click on the Young Guns versus Legends sweepstakes link on the right-hand navigation bar of the PBA.com homepage.
Dave, I learned something new this week. I know that's a shocker, but I learned that Etonic is the world's oldest fitness shoe company.
I just said that.
Oh, the oldest, yeah.
All right, we got that straight.
130 years old. You said that too, though, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. So get ready. They're the title sponsor, and we're glad to see it.
Yeah, this is 6th arrow for Steve Jaros right out of the gate. You notice when Pete Weber was moving in on that left lane, Jaros just started there. He's right on.
This guy's got a big rooting section, including his wife, Chrissy. She was there along with her young daughter, Natalie, in Milwaukee a couple of weeks ago. Watch that big win for Doug. Look out. Washout ball for Doug Kent.
Yeah, and this is all because of that ball return he's trying to manage right now. He's only taking about 2.5 steps, trying to flip it, though it's soft enough for it to pick up, and it's just a difficult task.
1, 2, 8, 10 here, guys. Multi-pin pickups. The numbers for Doug Kent. He's 2-2 lifetime against Steve Jaros on TV. Nice job. And a great pickup by Doug Kent, who is the Denny's PBA Tour points leader coming to this TV show today.
Totally unfazed by that first shot he threw, and he just steps up there and...
As good as a 9 spare.
Exactly, Doug. As good as 9 spare. He gets up there and shoots it like he's picking up the 5-pin, Norm.
Upside down 9 spare, that's all.
Yeah, that's the shot everybody was looking for, and Buster Buddy said. Washout.
Yep.
Knocked off Tommy Jones. Exciting roll-off in Milwaukee, our USA season opener. And then George Lambert, the 4th. Beat Jack Jurek, who's from right here in Buffalo in the finals. 277, 230, and took home $100,000 in 2-season exemption, Norman. That was a big day for Doug Kent.
Oh, a huge day, and for his confidence. You know, Doug can play anywhere on the lane. And if you were to say, where is he best, I think it's as deep as he is right now.
He's pretty good everywhere.
Yes. He scares me from in there, though.
He's got that nice axis rotation when he wants, getting his hand off the side of the ball. A little bit like Pete Weber does, you know, so they can get that ball to push to the right because of that rotation, but they can also get it to return and face the pins the right way. But you know what, this guy stepping up on the right lane, Steve Jaros, this is a guy you want to watch out for. He's a sleeper.
Gets help on number 10, Steve Jaros from the Chicago area at 41 years old. Here's the Ace Hardware matchup between Kent and Jaros. Norm, how do you see the matchup?
Well, I see this just neck and neck. I think that all of the stats are going to be about the same on these two players. The main thing is, who's got the momentum? I think both players have a little bit, but Doug Kent, right now, that $100,000 a couple of weeks ago, there's the nod.
And only 2 300 games this week, Norm, and they were done by these two players right here. Steve Jaros, Doug Kent. You can see right now, the reason why Steve Jaros had so much success this week, Dave, is because of his ball speed. He's able to stay soft enough. And again, the lanes were so slick this week. That was part of the winning ingredients. Keeping your ball speed slow and soft. Don't grab it at the bottom. Get a little bit of rotation so the ball will turn up towards the 1-3 pocket.
Jaros, good start here, guys. That's the first 3. Doug Kent in an early hole. High shot, avoids a split, but it's a 4-pin. And he's not quite found the pocket yet, has he?
I think part of the trouble is that Doug Kent has revamped his timing. He tries to get the ball into the swing nice and quick, a lot sooner than he used to. And I think because he's not able to take a full approach on that right lane, that's going to cause him problems.
Exactly, Randy. He just has not had the time to practice this new approach with a ball return like that. Now, I'm sure this week, a couple times he got in there. That would have to be the difficulty. It's changing that timing with 2.5 steps.
Doug told us, guys, after winning the Masters, try not to mentally take a different approach, but he's relaxed. 2-season exemption, $100,000 in his pocket. Hey, he can pay a lot more bills. He owns 2 bowling centers here in New York State with his wife, Chrissy.
There's a good one. There's a good one.
He liked that a lot. And with this huge rooting section from Newark, New York, they're about an hour and a half from here in Buffalo. They've come all the way. They've got the fresh shirts. See them there in the white T-shirts. Lots of Doug Kent supporters. Before our broadcast today, you saw at the very top of the show, bowling fans, if you caught that, little tailgating going on with Doug Kent and his family.
Dave, they were cooking Polish sausage out there. Now, I couldn't eat any because I still have a piece of Polish sausage lodged above my heart.
Thank you, George Wendt. Oh, those skits were great.
Maybe we should have saved that. Maybe we should have saved that for like 2 weeks from now when we're in Chicago.
Bears.
Yeah, top Bears. No more Polish sausage for me. Pretty good shot there by Jairus, though, Norm.
It was a great shot, and I tell you, he could have just, put Doug in a world of hurt. Didn't.
Has the 7th pin. His wife June, the twins, Evan and Hannah, who are now 7 years old. Big soccer players. They're second graders. Watching Dad compete. Next couple of events, Hammond, Indiana, and then Thanksgiving week in Chicago are his neck of the woods. So we'll get to go home and spend a lot of time with his family during the week.
Norm, why is it that every graphic that goes up is some guy beating you?
Well, I had a bad TV season last year, evidently.
Well, you could look at it as a bad TV season, or you made a lot of TV shows, because you can't win every single one of them. My God, every graphic that goes up there is some guy beating you, except me. Steve Jaros coming in light, leaving himself with the difficult bucket. 2, 4, 5, 8.
Multi-pin numbers. Oh, doesn't carry the 8-pin.
You said he was a sleeper. Well, that's the one he didn't get that time.
Well, he just opens the door for Doug Kent, too. And Doug Kent, with 2 strikes right here, will take the lead. Actually, with 1 strike and good count, he'll take the lead.
Just like that, things really turn around. Open frame. And the 5th for Jairus. Doug Kent loves the Empire State.
Get up, get up, get up.
Yes! It did get it. And a great shot by Doug Kent, the tour's hottest bowler. He's got to make moves, guys, as the oil goes into states of transition here.
Well, he's using 2 different approaches, 2 different bowling balls, a little shinier, straighter ball in the right lane. And on the right lane, to me, Norm, it's all about ball speed, because a tick fast using a little bit shinier ball could prove disastrous.
Yeah, at least on the left lane, you can get as far over to the left as you can. You got a little bit of friction out there to bank it up against. That right lane looks a lot tighter in that mid lane, right of the head pin. Harder to get the ball to move toward the pins.
A little bit off the 1-3 pocket there, has the 2-pin. He's so far left. Coming from inside with a big hook. He told us yesterday he's had some new bowling balls in his arsenal this year. He feels that has helped him. It's coming off his hand, he said, the best of his career. And it must be so great, Norm, to have that confidence. He feels like he's 1 step ahead of everyone else right now.
Yeah, that's the scary thing about all these pros is once they start bowling with confidence, they are all hard to beat.
Randy, what do you think? Doug Kent really posed at a big season?
I think so. I think he's got that confidence thing going. He likes his equipment. I think he's right where he wants to be.
And right now, thanks to that open frame by Steve Jaros in the 5th, Doug Kent has taken a 3-pin lead here. We'll have the conclusion of this exciting semifinal as he takes on Pete Weber. It's coming next. The Etonic Championship is brought to you by Bear. The more you know, the more you trust Bear. By By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit geico.com. And by Columbia 300, the official PBA supplier of high-performance bowling balls. Columbia bowls the world over. 3 of our 4 bowlers in this event, multi-TV appearances this year, including Doug Kent. Steve Jaros also made it as well, the Japan Cup. All helping these bowlers earn some big bucks this year on the Denny's PBA Tour. Doug Kent has the lead. 100,000 of those came at the USBC Masters in Milwaukee a couple of weeks back. Walter Ray Williams Jr. won the Japan Cup. Jack Jurek, a great start, finished in 2nd place as he tried to win a Masters championship. It's a new look this year. Pete Weber already has gone over $3 million in career earnings by making the finals today.
And speaking of money, I'd like to give a quick shout out to my buddy, Rich Karuba. Used to bowl on tour, made several TV shows back in the 70s. Today is his birthday. Happy 60th birthday, Rich Karuba.
All right, it's a big one for Rich. Steve Jaros off the mark here. Critical time for his game to be derailed. 5th and 6th frames. What's happening, Randy?
Well, he got off to a great start, and then the last 2 balls went light. Normally for Steve Jaros, especially on this pattern, that would come by throwing the ball a little too fast. Norm, what is it that you see that he's doing?
Well, I think he's throwing the ball as slow as he needs. But you still have to get a little hand in it. Of course, you have to guard from grabbing, but you have to get hand. Guard from grabbing, you have to walk that fence.
Steve had a pretty good off-season, couple of regional titles, and has the distinction of the highest and lowest ever on TV. One of those amazing records. Kind of like the conversions of the 7-10 split. Jess Stayrook. Tucson, Arizona, 1991. Probably will never be challenged. High-low on TV.
Well, he made a ball change there, and it read it the right way. Unfortunately, comes away with a ring and 10, but it's a lot better than going bucket 2, 4, 5 back-to-back.
That high game came for Steve against Ricky Ward, 1999. The low game against Mike Edwards in 92. He'd like to be closer to the 300 side here, Norm, as he tries to make a comeback. He knows it won't be easy with a big rooting section for Doug Kent.
Well, no doubt. The good news is neither bowler looks like they're very lined up. Both of them have to make really good shots. They also have to get a little lucky, so neither player thinks that they're going to be looking at a 5-bagger to win. Get what you can get.
See how far inside he is still. A little bit high. And a 4-pin for Doug Kent. Doug is a huge Buffalo Bills fan. Got to meet Lee Evans, wide receiver for the Bills, who he said, we were talking yesterday, very good bowler himself. Doesn't put the thumb in the thumb hole, but he's an excellent player. This morning, Doug was parading around in a Lee Evans autographed jersey.
What a blast they had.
A little bit of a football feel. There's Doug Kent with that crazy hat on this morning at a little bit after 10 o'clock. They had a tailgate going, Randy, and a nice little football game in the parking lot.
Yeah, nice hat, huh? Can we get one of those?
I'm open, I'm open.
Just don't get hurt, Dougie.
He's a season ticket holder of the Buffalo Bills as well. Has been for 5 years.
It's just a great story. A friend of Doug's, Todd
This is getting
Nitlow,
ugly.
who owns an electrical
This is
company
starting to get ugly.
in Newark, New York,
boy.
said, Dougie, go to Saturday morning junior leagues and tell all the kids, make an announcement. Anybody who can't afford a ticket to the show in Buffalo to come watch you bowl, he'll pay for it.
Wow.
Guess what? 40 kids here.
That's awesome. Great story. Two-pin lead here. There's the 5 for Doug Kent. He and his wife Chrissy own Rose Bowl Lanes and Lakeside Lanes, 36 and 16 lane bowling centers. Newark, New York area. Canandaigua, not far from Rochester. Not far from here, about 90 minutes. There's Chrissy. And her sister Leslie behind her. Parker Bone III's wife and their son. It's a family event when Doug Kent or Parker gets on the lanes on TV. Off the mark again. Boy, you don't ever see this lead. 4, 5, 7.
Just too fast, way too firm. Steve knows it. And you can see how deep the guys are already with just a game to go. They're into that in that fifth, sixth arrow zone. And Norm, I got to be honest with you. The more this continues in this direction, in my opinion, the more it favors Pete Weber.
Oh, no doubt about it. You know, he's watching this. He knows that both players are a little lost. He knows that that oil is carrying down. He knows that neither player is lined up. He has to be liking it. And right now, it's to the point where I don't think the guys are thinking about strikes, doubles, or strings. They're talking about to themselves. They're trying to convince themselves to put up a mark.
Boy, a tale of two games here, guys. Within one for Jairus, who started with a turkey. Look at that. There's the full scoreboard. And now opens in the 5th and 8th frames. He has collapsed. Shocking to see for the veteran who's won 7 times on tour. He's got a major championship. That's high again. Oh, mercy.
Yeah, that's back-to-back bad breaks. He knocks the 2-pin out of what could have been the 2-4-5 or a bucket. Now he comes up here a little bit tighter into the pocket and leaves the 4-9. Just bad breaks, Randy.
Yeah, right now Steve Jaros getting all the breaks, and you're right. And he's got himself in a big hole right now. And Doug Kent, all he needs to do is stay clean, fill frames in the 9th and 10th. And nice shot there, Steve Jaros.
Great conversion. 4-9 split.
I mean, you know, the best Steve Jaros can shoot now is 198. And Doug Kent's in the 2-0s, just putting up good count and marks.
And he better continue.
Steve was surprised, told us yesterday, he even made the show on this pattern, the Shark. One of the patterns he's not had a lot of success with in the past. There's the pocket hit breakdown for Doug Kent. Trying to put Jairus away. Oh, he nearly had the 7-10 for a second there, just the 10-pin for Doug Kent.
And you know what? 9 spare is okay.
Caught all that one.
That was close.
Yep. Mark in the 9th, mark in the 10th. Doug Kent will advance and face Pete Weber. And Pete Weber knocked off one of Buffalo's favorites and Liz Johnson. And Pete looking to just spoil the party for everyone with a win over Doug Kent if Doug advances.
If Doug can defend his title here in Buffalo, it'll be the first time it's happened on the Denny's PBA Tour since Tommy Jones won back-to-back Japan Cups 04-05. So it's been a while. That's what he needs to shut out Steve Jaros.
Okay.
Steve told us this week he was okay with coming in under the radar. Very quiet demeanor. Didn't mind competing against this huge crowd rooting for Doug Kent. The Fresh fans are here for Dougie Fresh.
Trouble. Not anymore.
Wow! That looked way off the mark. Then late hits on 3 pins. The last to fall, number 7.
Wow, what a huge break this is. You know, he's looking for any mark, and he sells this ball out into open zone. Gets the break, gets the strike, doesn't even have to make the spare. He's the winner.
Steve Jaros would have left the 2-7.
The way it's gone for Steve
Yeah,
today,
exactly.
Right?
2-7-10.
Yeah.
Some bad breaks. So Doug Kent.
Yeah, he needs 5. He'll get 5 at least.
Well, that, yeah.
Maybe.
7. Wash up ball to 1-2-10 up.
Can't get the ball to roll. And this is a really bad sign for Doug Kent going into the title match.
There'll be a lot of questions with ball selection strategy, path to the pocket. Pete Weber was locked in on this TV pair. That seemed like a long time ago. Where the oil has gone through transition. There's Pete waiting in the wings for a shot at his 33rd career title. An open frame for Doug Kent, but he does win the match over Steve Jaros.
See Pete licking his lips over there on the side.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Doug Kent, the tour's hottest bowler, and PDW, the legendary Hall of Famer, head-to-head for the champion in Buffalo. And Doug Kent, who's from an hour and a half away with a huge rooting section, win another championship in the Empire State. We find out next.
Steve Smith and the Carolina Panthers won 4 in a row and had their sights sights set on the NFC South lead. But after 2 straight setbacks, the Panthers must bounce back. There's no margin of error left for Joey Galloway, John Gruden, and the Bucks. Tampa Bay at Carolina at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
All right, Mike Tirico, we look forward to that game. Lee Evans, the great wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, played at Wisconsin, was here at Thruway Lanes, the Pro-Am event, along with Melvin Fowler, Eric Powell, and some other Buffalo Bills involved in the event here in Cheektowaga near Buffalo. The Bills taking on the Indianapolis Colts as we speak. Fans are trying to check out the phone for the latest score. And also watch the great bowling excitement here. We're getting set for Doug Kent, Pete Weber in the final. How do we get to this point? As the bowlers go for the trophy, let's check out the Geico Championship recap, Randy.
Okay, Dave, in semifinal number 1, Pete Weber defeated Chris Loschetter by the score of 227 to 179. By winning that match, Pete Weber becomes the second bowler to reach $3 million in earnings. And in semi number 2, Doug Kent. Dougie Fresh defeated Steve Jaros by the score of 203 to 188, setting up a great championship match in this year's 2006 Etonic Championship.
Our Geico Championship recap. Big crowd rooting for Doug Kent. Pete Weber, always a fan favorite. Coming up next from Western New York, we crown a champion. Kent, Weber on the way. Hello and a special thanks to Mike Herner, AMF District Manager, great host of our event here in Cheektowaga. We are so pleased to be back in Western New York, one of the premier bowling cities in the United States. Lake County Indiana Classic coming your way next week. Denny's PBA Tour live coverage here on ESPN rolls on. Can Pete Weber defend his championship? It was such an emotional event last year when he won the title, dedicating that championship, his 32nd and last title, to his late father, Dick Weber. Wow. Tears were flowing that day near Chicago. Goes for number 33 today. It's been a while since he knocked off Chris Loschetter. He's back up. Into the pocket.
I think this is a tall order for Doug Kent because
Like the first game, let it go.
because of the way the lanes have broken down and the way you have to play them now. Pete has that natural hand rotation to create that axis rotation, get the ball to push right and get it to recover. I know that Doug Kent can do that. He can do just about anything he wants to with a bowling ball. You can see right now, he's moved right on the approach.
Big change there for Doug.
All right.
Yeah, he just basically bails on playing in there at 5th there or 6th there with Pete Weber. He's going to try to go straighter from out, get his ball to roll up into the pins and then lay down.
Well, keep one thing in mind. Right of 7 or 8, Dave, it's like a cliff. That's how much oil is on the outside part of the lane. And if you get it right of that cliff, you're going to get 0.
Right off the edge, huh? It's going to be interesting to watch for Doug Kent. He's made a big move here in this championship match. Our ace hardware matchup between Weber and Kent. So Doug comes in as the hottest bowler on tour. Pete won last year in Hammond. Feels he's bowling as well as he ever has, Norm.
You know, and shoot, you guys could argue with that. I mean, Pete Weber for the last 26 years, it always seems like he's bowling better than he's ever bowled. Go figure.
Great matchup here, guys. The hometown hero, Doug Kent. Can he win here again in Buffalo?
You can see that Dougie's moved to the right. He's going straighter, and look at how straight that ball is. I mean, it doesn't even want to turn over down the lane. That's because of the excessive speed. And talking to the players, they all said the same thing. Lanes are very slick. You've really got to watch your ball speed.
Yeah, wheels are turning, but it's just not going anywhere.
Has a single pin spare conversion. Doug is 1-2 all time against Pete on TV. Denny's PBA Tour points leader, earnings leader.
He made the decision here, so. Come on.
confident going into that shot, going to stick with a game plan, but it's high.
Well, that was excellent off his hand. He liked it. He made his decision. He went with it, and look how clean this is off his hand.
Very nice.
Gets one of those steep Jaros. Breaks. No.
Hey, you know, it's amazing that the balls aren't really hooking real hard in the back part of the lane, and yet we've seen a 4.79 and a 4.9 in the last 2 games. Normally you see that kind of stuff when your ball is really back-ending hard and the angle's, you know, really sharp, and not the case today.
As Tracy watches, been 17 events since Pete has won in Hammond, Indiana last year. Made the finals of the Japan Cup, where Walter Ray Williams Jr. set the tour title record. Nearly bowled a 300 at Pete. Pete told us yesterday I had a 236. Matt bowled well that day, but he was rooting for Walter Ray to get the 300 at the end.
All right.
That crunches 10 into the pit. Wow. What a shot by Pete Weber.
What a shot from that.
Yeah, and even though Pete is trailing after 3 frames, I mean, you got to like what he's doing versus what Dougie's trying to do, and that's going straighter. He's trailing in the match yet. I think I like his spot better.
Oh, it's a 10-pin for Doug Kent, trying to take advantage of Pete's open.
It's the 1-3.
Yeah, that's more of what he's after there. You know, the ball laid down in the pins. It just didn't get high enough in the pocket before it laid down. So he's going to shoot this 10-pin. That's one of the reasons that you see that Pete is going to stay inside. He's going to hit that ball harder, and more often than not, his ball's going to hit harder.
Tracy watches her husband get that 10-pin. Her left was Doug's son, Jacob. Sophomore in high school on the golf team. Very good bowler, too. The blue stripe shirt, there he is. So the wives in this championship match trying to stay relaxed as their husbands go head-to-head for the title. Hits, nearly had a big break there as number 10 stands.
Very fortunate to only leave the 10-pin there, Norm, and
oh my God.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's 4 pretty good shots. I think I would move in there where Weber is and just take my chances. But, you know, Doug is very skilled, and he's experienced. He's going to do it right.
What about moving in and playing some kind of fallback shot?
Well, you can't just throw it to the right, so almost all of them are a little bit of a fallback. Right now, you just got to be good.
Yeah, Pete Weber works on a strike, chance to take a lead in the 4th frame when we come back to Buffalo. He's thinking strategy, trying to stay focused. The conclusion of the final is next. Doug Kent does have a 9-pin lead on Pete Weber, but Pete works on a strike, 4th frame championship match here in Buffalo. And a chance to take a 1-pin lead. We spoke with Pete yesterday, told us that despite the fact that he took on another hometown favorite, Doug has a big rooting section here, Liz Johnson, round of 8 on Friday. He tried to stay on the calmer side, trying to get his emotions too out of control. Pete does get very jacked up on TV. Perfect shot out of the commercial break. Such a big one there to take the lead. Now, Randy, what do you think about that? Pete has been known as being so bombastic. I mean, really outgoing.
So what?
What?
Listen, we know that Pete wears his emotions on his sleeves, or on his sleeve, and I still get kicking over that one bum. Anyway, he's a real high-impact, emotional guy, and you know, when you're 44 years of age, it's harder to regroup after slapping one off, running one out. So Pete, beautiful shot. So Pete's trying to stay a little bit more low-keyed.
Other finishers. A round of 32 on here. There's Mike Edwards, made the show last week. Liz Johnson from right here in Buffalo. And Brad Angelo had a nice run, too. Took on Doug Kent in the round of 8. Doug told us last night what a big match that was on Friday for him. Ryan Schaefer, another New York product. And others who finished here. There's Liz. Had a great run to the round of 8. Off the mark again.
Jesus God.
Light hit, 2-pin. Norm, what's happening? The bowlers just can't seem to find the range, especially Doug Kent right now.
Well, you know, he decided to stay right. Threw a great shot. That's why you hear his frustration. He's expecting this ball to move a little earlier and then lay in the pocket, and it just doesn't move.
Shooting his 11th single pin spare today.
Isn't that something? Wow. That goes a long way to telling what kind of day it's been for Doug Kent.
Okay, I'm desperate now.
That's the good news, and right now it's like 5-9 spares in a row, and he needs to make a change. Our other finishers, you saw Michelle Feldman, who was another former touring professional on the ladies' side, and Kelly Kulik, our only female exempt player, finished 54th.
Kelly in via her finish at the Tour Trials this year.
Big giant move.
The one he needed, right?
Big giant move, Dave. He moved way in, took a ball out that he used in practice prior to the start of the match and said, well, I got to do something different. Watch this. You think he likes this one?
Oh! Absolutely. But Pete definitely has found the path to the 1-3 pocket, guys. Looks for the 4-bagger, 6 frame, chance to go up 22 pins. Can he stay high? Yeah!
What was that word?
Bombastic.
Yeah, that's the one. Well, you're going to start seeing a little bit more of that with each and every strike from here on out. And Dave,
we're going to hear the end of that.
Dave, for Norm and I, small words, please. Thank you. Can you believe this guy throwing those words at us like that, Norm?
I love it. I learned a new word, and I'll tell you what, Pete Weber does know that Doug Kent moved in and has a new lease on life with that new ball, and he knows right now is the best time to end this before he gets too lined up.
Come on, come on. Yes, baby, that's right.
I told you.
Motion from Pete.
I told you he's a bad man in there.
Take that.
He's a bad man in there. You get him way in like that, he's already drifted left with his approach. He doesn't have to stand in front of the ball return. He gets his hand to flip around the side with that arm string, that extension. That's trouble.
He's mean in there. You're right.
He's got a 5-bagger. He can't even watch. See him behind Doug Kent. High shot there, right through the nose. 3-6-10, so that lane not figured out by Doug after he struck on the other with his wife and sister-in-law as Leslie Bone right behind Chrissy.
Doug's approach, he walks fairly straight, maybe slides back into it just a little bit right. Pete Weber, on the other hand, he's got that big third drift step to the left.
Shot.
Much easier for somebody like that to repeat that kind of motion. His approach doesn't change.
Well, he can navigate that ball return on the right lane better than just about anybody I've ever watched. He can take his full approach always. He can throw the ball speed. One of the things that Doug is having trouble with on the right lane, you can't baby that big ball.
They frame. All 10 down. He needed that, but was working on a spare. Pete has a 5-bagger going right now, heading into his 8th frame.
Doug can strike out to shoot 226, and right now Pete Weber's in the 220s. He's got 3 frames left. He's working on a 5-bagger, and he's ready to put an end to this match and take this trophy home. And right now, Pete Weber is all up in Dougie's grill screaming, yeah, okay.
I don't think Pete went to the tailgate party this morning.
All right, semi-1 and title match. Semi-1 on the left lane, or on the left part of the screen. You can see how much further right Pete was in that match. A good 6 boards to the left in this title match. Again, because of his physical attributes, just doesn't matter. Any place on the lane.
6 in a row here, guys. Foundation frame. Looks for a 52-pin lead.
What time?
Nearly did it.
That's okay, though. 9 spare at this juncture is just fine.
Good shot.
It was a good shot. He knows it.
Pete Weber's in the, let me just mark here and get a mark in the 10th frame and I'll win. Doug Kent, however, he's in that I can't miss zone right now. He's got to strike out to have any kind of chance. And the big question mark is coming right here, right now, on this right lane.
Hard not to baby the shot when you're only taking 2.5 steps with a big ball. He could throw this ball right through the break also. This is a tough one.
Gotta have it. Way high. And Doug Kent, who has 8 titles in 8 different seasons. He's never won more than 1 title in a year, Randy. We talked about that top of the broadcast. We'll have to wait, it appears, a little longer. He had to have that strike.
In my opinion, he will win multiple titles. That's just a matter of time. The fact that he hasn't done it up to this point is kind of surprising to me. So much talent.
Well, there's no question that Doug has the talent, and I agree with you, Norm. I'm surprised, along with pretty much just about everybody else on tour, that Doug hasn't won multiple times in his career, but I think you're right. I think this year is the year, and today he fell victim to that guy.
And that guy has wrapped it up. This match is over, fellas.
One of the reasons why Pete Weber is the most feared out here is his ability to do things like this. We're watching the scoring pace. Just awful. Pete gets up there, throws a 6-back.
Yeah, double shoots 240. Anytime I watch Pete Weber bowl on television where the back ends look a little tight, I think that favors him because of his axis rotation and his amount of revolutions and all that back end hook. Whenever you bowl on any type of pattern where you need to create back-end reaction, advantage Pete Weber.
No doubt.
Title number 33 will go to PDW.
44 years of age, just an amazing guy, but you know it comes from some pretty good genes. His father, Dick Weber, 26 titles out on tour, and I'll tell you what, this guy can still get it done at age 44, and if he stays healthy, there's no telling.
All right, Doug.
He may catch Walter in. He may pass Earl Anthony.
I am in the house, and take that!
There's some bombasticity.
Yeah, that too. There you go, Dave.
Right. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Thanks, Bobby. Tom, thank you very much.
247, 196. Pete Weber wins his 33rd career title.
Etonic, Storm, PBA.
A champion again of the Denny's PBA Tour.
Yes.
The Etonic Championship is brought to you by Discover Card. It's time a credit card put you in the driver's seat. By Etonic, the official footwear of the PBA. Etonic, first one there. By Motel 6, the official lodging partner of the PBA. For the lowest price of any national chain, go to motel6.com. And by the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us. Pete Weber, a winner over Doug Kent in the final, and he's one championship closer now to the great Mark Roth. One away from third all-time. He believes he can catch Walter A. Williams Jr. with 42 career titles. So in the semifinal, Pete, before your championship match with Doug Kent, bowlers were having some trouble trying to find the pocket. You mastered it with a 6-bagger. How'd you do that?
Dave, I just picked the ball that hit the pocket in the game, so I just tried to let it off my hand. I didn't really try to hit the ball really hard today. It was more of a stroke off my hand, so the ball wouldn't hook early like I saw the other guys doing, and it just worked out for the best.
You told us you feel really good heading into this season. Made the championship match, Japan Cup, lost to Walter Ray when he set the record. What has made you feel so comfortable here in the first few weeks of the season?
This is the best start of my career ever. I mean, 2 TV shows in the first 4 weeks of bowling the tour. So you know, this is a good start for me, and From what I understand, I was told earlier that Paige Williams predicted me to be Player of the Year this year. So, well, Paige, I'm trying not to let you down.
Now, you also told us yesterday, Pete, that sometimes you want to keep the emotions under control, but we saw you enjoy and celebrate the victory. What does it feel like to win after all these events, all you've championships you've won 33 times? How does it feel to get out here and win?
It never gets old, Dave. Just never gets old. Winning is the best feeling in the world. I know being second's not so bad either. Doug, great bowling this week. Winning never gets old, and thanks to Etonic for sponsor, Storm for the bowling balls, Vice Grips. Thank you very much, everybody. I love it here, and I'll be back.
Congratulations, Pete Weber. Title number 33, his wife Tracy enjoying that as well, as Pete takes the title here in Buffalo and knocks off the defending champion, Doug Kent. Next week, Pete Weber tries to defend his title, Hammond, Indiana, and the Lake County Indiana Classic, Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, as ESPN's live coverage of the Denny's PBA Tour continues. Should be an exciting tournament as well to see if Pete can win yet another championship. Big story of the day, PDW, as he takes the championship match, a win over Doug Kent in Buffalo, with all those fans rooting for Doug here today from Newark, New York, about an hour and a half away. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. The WPBA Midwest Classic coming your way next on ESPN. Now for the entire crew, Norm Duke, Randy Peterson, it's Dave Ryan saying so long from Western New York. Plenty of emotion, a great crowd watching Pete Weber win his 33rd title. Congrats to PDW on a fantastic day for bowling in one of the best bowling cities in America, Buffalo, New York. So long, everyone.